So while many people are looking at President Trump's speech as a major moment and a historic one, the president spoke for nearly 2 hours, something we've never really seen done in a State of the Union setting. Democrats, they're in damage control mode right now, ladies and gentlemen, desperately trying to put the pieces back together after going full mask off, right? Trump derangement syndrome was definitely on full display in 4K quality for the country to see. And now, of course, they're running the legacy media attempting to twist and spin the narrative the only way they know how. And so just wait until you see this. As always, if you enjoy the content, smash that thumbs up button. That's the best way to let me know and to stay locked in with future videos. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, make sure you turn those notification bells on. That way you know every time I drop a video, just in case YouTube act a little freaky. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So it looked like a lot of strange things happened last night also. And I was true to my word. I watched Bob's Burgers and had a great time. And then it ended, it ended at 8 o'clock. Yeah. So I was forced to go and watch this stuff.
Democratic Florida Congressman Debbie Wasserman Schultz with us from the Capitol. Nice to see you, ma'am. I understand maybe on not standing up with the transition issue. I just want to understand this one, though. President Trump said if you agree with this statement, stand up. First duty of America should be taking care of American citizens, not illegals. Why would that be hard to stand up for?
Leland, the president tonight gave a speech that was absolutely revolting.
What was the message Democrats who stayed seated were intending to send?
The message is that he's the one who should be ashamed of himself.
What did you think about that moment when the president was asking Democrats to stand up for American citizens during that part of the speech when he was talking about immigration and immigration enforcement efforts?
I think you can agree with the what, like standing up for American citizens, but I disagree with the how. And so it's always about how do we bring our country together, but not stand on the backs of others. There's thinly veiled racist language, anti-immigrant language in what he was asking, and that was uncomfortable.
As I was watching that, I was just thinking about the fact that we are just over 8 months from the midterm elections. And that is, no matter what number of people battled through that nearly 2-hour speech, it's still going to be his largest audience of the year. And if you're sitting in a White House before a speech for any president, you're thinking about a couple things. How does the president use that speech to give a message to not just the people in the chamber, but his political allies out there about what they should be talking about, what the agenda is, what the winning message is? And Trump decided to double down on things that are hugely unpopular. I mean, to your point, it was like a 3-part speech. There was the gross, violent pornography part of it. There was the circus entertainer part where he was bringing out unrelated people in vignettes. And then there was a part that was policy-ish.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I listened to the entire speech. What is she talking about? Gross, violent pornography? I don't even know what she's talking about at this point. Listen. When Trump says these people are crazy, it may sound over the top at first until you stop and really think about it. What is this woman even talking about saying something like that on national television? And you know she chose that language for a reason to describe it. That was not accidental. It's just amazing to watch them cope in real time. It really is. It really is, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go ahead and jump into the next clip. This one features Chuck Schumer, who was in attendance and was among the Democrats who chose not to stand for American citizens during the address. And here's his response. Take a listen.
When he asked you all to stand, let me play that moment.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself.
So you didn't stand?
Well,
Democrats
Trump
didn't stand?
Should, yeah.
Well, just is it what did you think when he asked you to stand?
Bottom line is very simple. We agree we need to protect Americans. He's not.
Yeah, I don't know what's so controversial or complicated about the question. The problem with the Democrat Party right now is if you can't even concede on the most basic common sense issues in this country, what do you think is going to happen when it comes to the issues that are actually more nuanced? But that's where we are at this point. They have no interest in actually working with the president, which is exactly why Republicans need to get it together and start delivering results, because so far, with the majority in Congress, it's been underwhelming. I'll be honest. They've been dragging their feet in year one of his presidency. And if they lose the midterms, it'll be their own fault. I said that before. But now let's get into the next clip where CNN dropped some numbers. Even they had to admit the president's speech was viewed as a success and that many Americans believe Trump's policies are taking the country in the right direction. Check it out.
Among speech watchers tonight, 64% say his policies will move the U.S. in the right direction. And look at the growth President Trump made over the speech. So pre-speech, it was 54% of speech watchers said his policies will move the U.S. in the right direction. After the speech, that number goes up 10 percentage points. So Donald Trump made some progress with people watching the speech from their pre-speech expectations to what they saw in the speech itself. And that 64% number, that's pretty much in range across all of his State of the Union addresses. In his first term, last year, the joint session, that's about what we've seen. Is roughly 2/3 have walked away from his speeches thinking he's going to move it in the right direction.
So a lot of red meat for the base.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. If you're a Republican on the ballot in 2026, I think you leave this speech being as happy as you could possibly be, that he sort of stuck to the script on the economy, he gave red meat to the base on immigration, and they can leave the hall tonight and sort of take that out on the campaign trail.
You know, I thought President Trump actually delivered a higher energy speech than I think even his speech last year. He was much more engaged, and I think part of that was because they had planned the speech to be an interactive experience between him and the audience. There were things for him to announce, surprises. There were big moments, emotional moments, and that helps him tremendously.
He also basically kept control of himself, which I think will be a great relief to his strategists and aides there. But the question, I think he did well from their perspective for the reasons that you say, John, and he used the gallery very skillfully to kind of simulate empathy, which is a thing that he's been lacking, and that's sort of a surrogate for that. The question is, he started off the speech by saying, this is the turnaround for the ages. Right. And as you know, because you're traveling around the country, people don't think the direction is right. And I don't think this cured that. So we'll see. But I don't think a lot of the people who needed to be persuaded probably were watching this speech.
Yes, sir. I know that was hard for Abby Phillips to give the president any kind of credit. But I'm sure she'll be right back to business as usual soon enough. And you also had David Axelrod, Obama's former advisor on the panel, also giving credit. But listen, the reason you know the speech landed is because they didn't really have much to attack. You weren't going to hear CNN come on the air and say, wow, Trump did amazing. That's not how they operate. But let's be real. If he had started rambling, gone too far off script, stumbled through it, something like that, they would have absolutely cooked him the next day. That's all we would be hearing. He's old, he's senile, he's unfit, all of it. And so you have to understand what you're listening to when you hear these people talk. Sometimes what they don't say tells you everything. And more importantly, it's about what the American people thought. And so here are a few viewer reactions of what people thought. Check it out.
How do you not stand? How do you not stand? Watching the State of the Union, I'm not even shocked anymore. Simple question. Who stands for protecting the American people and enforcing the laws of this country? Half the room seated. Guess which side? What, 2 or 3 stood up? I'm sorry, but protecting your own citizens should not be controversial. Securing borders should not require a PR team. Enforcing laws already on the books should not be radical.
Think about what the president had to say.
I love the whole speech. I love the fact that now we know who is for the illegals and who's for real Americans.
You're talking about the fact that the Democrats did not stand up.
Exactly.
You told me that one of the things in watching the speech last night was you were disappointed.
Very disappointed in the Democrats. I mean, the reason I'm so disappointed is the mere fact, at the end of the day, he is our president. Right. I don't care who it is, Democrat or Republican. He is our president.
So you're disappointed.
Give him that respect.
You were disappointed in the Democrats. What did he do? How did he do?
Oh, he probably one of the best speeches that you'll ever go down in history.
All right.
Yeah, so you heard that. Those were the people who liked what the president had to say and believe the country is headed in the right direction based on what he's done so far on the border, the big beautiful bill, tax cuts, all of it. but I want to also show you both sides. So here's some people who didn't like the speech as much. Take a listen.
I think you said at one point, this thing is a joke. You said to me, this is a joke. Yeah. What made you feel that way?
Just the pure unseriousness, just making up jokes. I mean, the jokes for me were like just saying, oh yeah, America's winning, but like where are we winning? People here have been murdered, representatives have been murdered, like people protesting at ICE protests have been arrested. That's free speech right there. Constitution rights have been revoked. If anything, we're burning. I don't see anything thriving. I don't see anything good about it. And he's just over here acting as if like he is a president, yeah, but at some point it will catch up to you. You're not above the law, so it will end up getting up to him.
Profound words spoken.
You did not like this speech at all. Tell me why.
I didn't like the speech because he did not talk about what he was doing to make our lives better. As Governor Spanberger said, is the president working to make our lives better? No. James Carville said, it's the economy. And it still is the economy. And he's not talking about that at all.
Wait, what about the Trump accounts? What about the tax cuts? Did that move you at all? Did that make you feel like he's on your side?
No. No, it did not.
Why not?
He talked about the health care plan. Where is his health care plan? People's health insurance premiums are going up. What is he doing for that? What is he doing for our seniors?
Yeah, just left you flat. But
I personally think what you just saw right there was a case of selective hearing. Gas prices are down. He mentioned the tax cuts, borders fixed. He spoke about prescription drug costs coming down, energy costs drop, inflation down compared to where Democrats had it. He covered a lot, right? Reality is there's still more time in his presidency than we have without, right? So more time ahead. The big, beautiful bill, much of the policy passed is now just going into effect. And so we'll see, right? But here's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. People are going to hear what they want to hear. They're going to feel what they want to feel. And I said this before, Trump could cure cancer and Democrats would still find a way to oppose or criticize him. So in my opinion, it is what it is. Those are my thoughts on the update. Now let me hear from you. Drop your comments down below. As always, smash that thumbs up button if you do enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel to stay locked in with future videos. And as always, until next time.